Welcome to the show. We are creators coming together to talk about YouTube and vlogging and taking a break from our individual channels to collaborate. If you are new and you like the idea of this, please hit the subscribe button. That would be terrific. And if you are a creator, come on over to our Facebook CreatorCast group page. The link of that will be in the description. My name is Benon. I'm from the channel Gives a Minute, and I'll be hosting the show today. And joining me is Mr. Danny Black. Danny, where are you at the moment, mate?
I'm back in Australia. Just landed here. Feels great to be back in Aussie land. By the way, at least you didn't say fact base or whatever I said that one time. Face back.
Face back, yeah, you did say that once. Yeah, I feel like I stumbled on it as well.
You're about to do it.
It's kind of, yeah, I stumbled on something. We got it out there. I figured you were going to promote the Facebook group page anyway later on, so it doesn't matter if I mess it up.
Just look in the description because there's a link there. Come to the Facebook page, and it's just CreatorCast. Just type that in, groups/CreatorCast. I don't know. People don't type things in because it's usually on their phone. So I don't know if it's like a search bar or just look on your phone. Facebook.
I just want to also give props to Danny for coming on today to the show because he's literally flown back from LA overnight. And I don't even know
what day it is. I don't know what time it is. I mean, I know what time.
How have you done that, man? Like, you need to get some sleep.
I'm feeling all right. Although I have a gig tonight, and then tomorrow I fly out to Sydney to go to the snow and go skiing for a week, and then after that I fly back to Brisbane and then immediately fly to Auckland to get on a cruise ship for 4 days. And then I fly down to Melbourne to join you guys for VidCon. So it's going to be pretty hectic there for a little bit.
That's huge, man. Yeah. That's really huge. You're all over the place at the moment. It's nice to have you on solid ground right now for a little while.
That's good.
We have a great interview today coming up.
Excited about this one.
The guest we have here, he's a very enigmatic YouTuber, someone I've stumbled upon a long time ago and have been really enjoying. Without much more further ado, the channel is Viva Frei. Welcome to the show, Viva Frei. Come on down.
Hello. Hey. Surprised to see you there.
Oh, I didn't realize you were going to be in that square right there. I'm just making that up. You'll see later. That would make sense after the...
And I'm going to say, I'll preface this by saying that you may hear either kids, dogs, or a combination of the both at any point during this interview. So I apologize in advance because I think it's going to happen.
It's all right.
I really hope we do hear that because that would give it the full, authentic feel from your vlogs.
Oh, you should have seen Gina Walters' interview. Remember Gina?
Yeah.
Her husband's on the other side, and kids are just like getting stuff out of the drawers, and she's like, "Shut up."
Well, I won't say that. I'm just going to lift up one of the dogs, and then the other one, when I lift up, she's going to pee and poo on the floor. It's guaranteed.
Cool. There goes our AdSense, which we don't have anyway. Hey, Viva Frei, for those people out there, just a quick clarification. Are we going to be calling you Viva Frei this whole interview, or are we going to call you by your name, David?
I go interchangeably at this point in my life, either by David or Viva. I actually respond on the streets to Viva. Now it's gotten that instinctual, but either or is good. Viva, David, or Frei.
I want to go Viva. I like Viva. I love Viva. Now, Viva, correct me if I'm wrong, Viva is Spanish for live?
I would say Spanish, Italian, Portuguese, French. I picked Viva actually out of a hat when I picked the name. It was sort of I was listening to a lot of Coldplay at the time, and it was like Viva, and I just assumed Viva means Viva la Vida. Well, no, that was not Viva la Vida Loca, but what was the one there?
What was the name of that album?
It was come on, Viva la Vida.
Hey Siri,
it was Viva la Vida. Yeah,
album starting with the title Viva.
We got it. Viva la Vida.
It has to mean life. In some language, it has to mean life. And then Frei is free, so it's sort of live free.
Yeah, and Frei is German for free. And your last name is Freiheit, which is German. And
totally.
So, yeah, there's a few things going on here, because you live in Canada, but you live in the French side of Canada in Quebec, but you got a German name. There's so much to dissect there.
So my grandfather was born, it gets even more complicated. My grandfather was born in Austria. It became Poland after World War I, and it became the Ukraine after World War II. And he then, he left to Argentina and then ended up in Winnipeg. His last name was Freiheiter with an ER at one point, and then they dropped the ER and it just became Freiheit, which is verbatim freedom in German.
Wow.
Gotcha. Wow.
Family tree.
Awesome.
And when I lived in Quebec City, everyone, Freiheit, no one had ever heard of the name. It was a total novelty. But yeah, it's a good name, and not very common in North America.
I do love how you show your city. Like you go and just take us on journeys. It's almost like an in real life stream, but it's an edited vlog. But I really enjoy that.
Montreal Mondays
that lately.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. It's
It,
something
Montreal,
everyone should be doing.
Well, I'd still have to say like Montreal is a beautiful city versus Toronto or Ottawa, and everyone who says my city is more beautiful than yours. Everybody's city is beautiful to themselves, and like I know my city, I know the parts I like, I know the parts I don't necessarily like as much. But everybody's city is beautiful because of their own perspective. I just happen to live here, and it looks novel and it's new to everybody who's watching. But it's sort of what I love about YouTube is it allows me to re-explore the town that I grew up in and see it through new eyes. But it's a beautiful city architecturally, historically, culturally. But everybody's city is. It's not a question of Montreal.
I don't know. I'm from
X, Y, and
Detroit.
Z.
I would definitely disagree with that.
Well, I drove through Detroit. Detroit is beautiful. I don't know. I hadn't spent any time there, but Michigan was beautiful.
Yeah.
I spent a few minutes in Detroit.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
And you also just ostracized our entire Detroit audience. All of your family, Danny, are now not watching.
I think they would all agree. They would be like, "I'm glad he said that because that's true."
Michigan, that's it. Michigan is among the most beautiful states I've ever seen.
It is.
Everything has beauty and everything has corruption, potholes, and dirty.
And you can make
streets.
that beautiful in filmography or cinematography or whatever you want to call it. You can make all the abandoned places in Detroit look pretty, I guess, somehow.
I listened to a lot of Eminem and saw 8 Mile, so I think I've seen the good and the bad. But yeah, I have never spent any extended period of time in Detroit. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's all good.
Viva, you live on a lake, or you have access to a lake quite close to you, correct?
So we have access. The beautiful thing about Montreal is you have access to bodies of water everywhere. You have the St. Lawrence River, Lachine Canal. You drive an hour north, you're in Mont-Tremblant, Saint-Donat, all the what we call the north of Montreal. Drive east or south, and you're in the eastern townships, which has those pike, the bass, and I think I know where you're going. But so my mother-in-law lives on the Canadian side of Lake Champlain. And my parents have a cottage up in the Laurentians in Saint Donat, but you don't see any fishing from Saint Donat because I don't catch many fish out there.
Right. So that was the place where we're headed. That was the place where that was shot. That vlog.
The magical drone bass fishing vlog.
Yes.
But the top five moments of my life, including the birth of my 3 children, and I think I can't think of anything great. Yeah, that was where it was shot. It was in the eastern townships. It's called. Do you hear a kid screaming in the background?
Nope, we don't hear it. Don't.
Okay,
hear it.
good.
No, I can't hear it at all.
There's no kid screaming in the background. It's a place called Missisquoi Bay. It's the Canadian side of Lake Champlain. They had built a causeway between the Canadian side and the American side, which sort of stifled circulation on the Canadian side, which is bad but good for sort of low oxygen fish like pike and bass and other sort of fish. So the Canadian side is called Missisquoi Bay. It's flat. It's huge. It's like 6 kilometers from shore to shore, and maximum 13 feet deep. And it's a beautiful body of water. It's a little polluted in the summertime because a lot of farm runoff with a lot of nitrates bring about an algae bloom. But it's great for pike, bass, and low oxygen level fish that can thrive in sort of, call it marshy lands.
Right. Well, that's how I came across your channel, and I'm going to say it was about 12 months ago. I'm not sure what I was searching for. It might have been drone fishing, but your video came up. And now, if you haven't seen this video and you're watching this interview, I highly, highly recommend going and having a look now. Like, pause this one.
We're going to go fishing with a drone, but we're not using worms, and we're not in a little pond. We are on Lake Champlain, and we are going to be trolling with a jitterbug. Let's see how this goes.
There are so many things about that video I want to ask you about, and a lot of this is also like me checking off my own checklist, because my family and I watched it. My nephew and niece, we've all watched it. We laughed our heads off at it. My mum's watched it. My sister watched it. We lost our stuff. I was going to say we lost our shit, and I didn't want to swear because that was one of the questions I had.
You lost your holy cows. You lost your crab apples.
So it looks like you want to swear, but it also looks like you're maybe not because you've got kids. Like, is that accurate?
I love that.
I'm pretty good about swearing. I have a few exceptions: broken glass and physical pain. If I bang my elbow, it's not a holy cows. It's something else that our youngest of the three sometimes repeats. But everything else, I can control myself.
Oh my gosh. Did you just see the fish? I got a fish. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Holy crab apples. Holy cows. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. We got it. Okay, well, the fish is on the end. Holy cows. Oh my gosh.
Can I tell you something, Ben? I know that I've seen his videos, but I remember a year ago you showing me this when I was at your house. You showed me that video, and we laughed so hard at your reaction. We were having some home brews. I remember I was crying. I was laughing so hard, and I forgot about it until just now. That's so funny.
Every time
Oh, sorry. Go, Viva.
Oh no, it's because every time. I mean, that is my go-to video when I feel a little discouraged, when I feel a little depressed, or I feel a little irritated. I go to that, and I mean. And now I'm hearing kids screaming, and I want to go replay that video now. It was lightning in a bottle is not the appropriate. It doesn't do it justice because it's not just that everything happened. It's not that it happened. It's that it happened the way it did with the camera angles that I had, with the video quality that I had, with the outcome that I had. It was like I thought maybe I'd catch a fish. I thought maybe the reality is I thought my drone would actually snag a rock or a weed, and I thought it was going to be a done thing. I was recording for 8 minutes, and I've tried to do it again. It hasn't happened. I was recording for 8 minutes. The fish bit,
unbelievable.
Yeah, and then you see it jump out of the water. Like bass don't typically launch out of the water like spring salmon or something. It was just and then it launched out of the water. But I had the perfect view from the drone camera going down. That I didn't lose the camera. After I came back with the footage, I said, "This is the only thing I don't understand how it didn't get 10 million views and not out of like greatness. It's just such a magical moment in my spirit. I assumed it was going to get 10 million views." How it sort of like didn't get to that threshold always surprised me, but it was magic.
It has all of the qualities. Like it's a great story. It's snappy, but I think what really makes it for me it's your personality, like your reaction. Like, so you said you said you don't swear often. You chose to use, and this was a bane of contention amongst my family. We thought, well, I thought you were saying, so you say holy, it sounds like holy crab apples.
Yeah, it's
like
crab apples.
Right, but then we were saying, well, no, it could also be Edna Krabappel from The Simpsons that you were referencing.
You beat me to the
I
joke.
know you had kids. And I was like, maybe it's something to do with The Simpsons. And our family argued over what you said, man. It's like
it was crab apples and not crabapples and not what did the guy use in Megamind? I think it was crab nuggets. It was crab apples, like holy crab apples. It's an old expression that I grew up with. But
I've heard that one. Yeah.
Really, I've never heard crab apples before. But
I have no idea where it came from. But I grew up with holy crab apples and holy cows, which I never even thought twice about how obscure an expression "holy cows" was until everyone in the comment section of the video was saying "holy cows." Like, what does that even mean? But to me, that's like reflexive. It's.
You said that at least 6 or 7 times in the space of like 2 to 3 minutes once the action starts happening.
Oh my gosh. Holy cows. Holy cows, I did not think this was going to work. Oh my gosh.
That's the edited version. The original, I mean, one day, that might be a good anniversary video. The original version had 3 times more holy crab apples and oh my gosh. Like the original version, I edited out maybe like 2 or 3 minutes, but I did 2 edits, and my brother, I sent it to my family, and they said, "Oh, it's too long." The original version I edited was like virtually unedited, and they said, "No, it's too long. People are going to get bored." There were twice as many holy crab apples and holy cows in that. It was just, it was endless. It was one after the other. But The non-joke side of that was when I was running up with the fish in my hands, screaming, "Marion, Marion!"
I was going to get to that. Yeah.
I don't know if you see the woman towards the end. She has blonde hair. That's my aunt. My mother.
She took the photo?
No, that was my mother-in-law who took the photo. But my aunt-in-law, my mother-in-law's sister-in-law lives right next door, like literally next door. And she was in the shower. And she heard me. She's got a pool in the backyard and thought that I was screaming bloody murder because something terrible had happened. And so she rushes out in a towel, thinking like, God forbid something terrible had happened, and sees me holding a fish. And then everyone knew it was just sort of just, nothing bad. It was just great. But
oh my gosh, Marion! Oh! Oh my gosh, Marion! Oh my gosh. Marion! 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 Come here! Look at what I caught with the drone! It's a huge freaking bass. Marion, tell me the numbers on my GoPro are rolling. Yes. Look at the size of this! Get your camera, please, quickly.
You screaming, Marion, Marion. It's like you could picture it. Someone having like getting a promotion at work or winning the lottery or like something really huge. But it's a grown man with a fish in his hands running up to the house, so stoked that he caught it. But not just the fact that he caught it, but the fact that he caught it on his drone. It's like...
it was, as far as I'm concerned, it was winning the lottery. In fact, I mean, I think winning the lottery is less likely than ever this happening again. This is... I think it's once in a lifetime, because I've tried multiple times since.
You closed the video with these words, "I don't know what to do for the rest of my life." It's like...
This is the craziest thing that's ever happened, actually. Didn't think anything was going to work, let alone a fish. This is the biggest fish of my life. Okay, God, here. Okay, there you go. Okay, go. And it's off. Holy cows. Holy cow. Oh my gosh. I don't know what to do with the rest of my life. Oh my gosh. Okay, that's the end of it.
No, it's like, I guess in a way, I'm happy because I've done some stuff on YouTube that has sort of surpassed that potentially in terms of views or meaning. But that was like, what do you do? I just caught. First of all, that fish was big enough that if I had caught it off a rod and reel on ordinary circumstances, I would have been ecstatic. I caught it off a drone with no elasticity other than the what's the word I'm looking for? I forget. I'll remember whatever the fishing line, the translucent line is. It has some flex to it, but there was no like release. There was no nothing. It was 10 feet of fishing line attached to a drone, the skids, and the fish didn't pull the drone in. I got the drone back and then hand reeled the line. It was just everything about it could not be replicated if you tried. It's a proverbial lottery that I won, but unfortunately, there's no prize value on it.
Yeah, your YouTube views definitely puts value onto that, I'm sure.
Yeah, but I feel like that should be a million views easily.
Easy.
But it's been up for 12 months now. It's about a year.
No, I think it's been more. I think it's 24 months. It'll be 24 months this month.
Okay, so
because I remember I did a 1 year anniversary last year with my daughter where we actually caught another bass, but we caught a bass and it was a little bass off a worm, not trolling a jitterbug and catching a monster smallie.
So when in the video you launch the drone, you take it out there. I think there's a cut to the drone angle. Oh no, you changed the angle from the GoPro.
Yeah, they were simultaneous at the same time. They were concurrent, which is why I was able to match the audio. The audio came straight from the GoPro, so I was able to match the audio of the fish slapping on the water when it jumped with the audio from my GoPro, and then I sort of switched back and forth to give both perspectives because it was magical.
So what was the time frame from when you and then went out? Was it Was it what it seems like right then?
2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. The whole video unedited, I think, was 9 minutes. And at one point, I was thinking of just posting the entire video unedited so that no one would accuse me of having staged it, but no one accused me of staging it, so I didn't have to do that.
Yeah, no, it's not staged.
Where's the views at on it right now? Where's it at view wise?
I think it's at 730,000, give or take.
It'll
not that I follow it every day.
it's well short of what it should be, and I feel like if people catch on and I mean they've already caught on, but if more people catch on, that it's got all the qualities of a massively viral video.
You know what my only problem was, and I think it might have contributed to the failure to pick up, is I was so eager to get it on the internet that I published it or made it public. It was like a Friday afternoon, which I don't think is the best time to get the traction of virality going. Like I actually think like Monday afternoon or maybe Tuesday afternoon, a weekday afternoon is better, but I'm so neurotic and so compulsive. Like I said, if I die between this afternoon and Monday, I need to get this on the internet before it happens. So I edited it together so quickly, uploaded it. I didn't care if it wasn't the absolute crispest edit. I just wanted to get that on the internet before, God forbid, the internet crashes and I don't get to actually publish this.
I don't think that it would have mattered. Because I think that like you get great people have some awesome videos that should be viral. And it always just takes a little bit of time to build up steam and pick up. And like a lot of times I see like these videos that come around and there's like, 10 million views on it. And you look at the date on it, and it was like 3 or 4 years ago. And so sometimes it just takes its time to get there.
It's a slow burner.
The interesting thing is I have noticed it's picked up, it was at 707,000 views like not more than a month ago. And I've noticed an increase in spike of viewership and at the very least comments. So I'm hoping things are trends, and when DJI comes up with a new drone, it might trigger searches which bring this up to the forefront. But it did get some good exposure off YouTube. I don't know if you guys know this. It was on WCAX Vermont. Do you guys? Oh God, this is a great story. Okay, so this is a local Vermont station just south of Quebec, and the Monday after it was up, they called me up and said we want to do an interview. And I was like, for sure, this is great. And we had like the most hilarious laughing interview. The reporters are in love with the video. They're in love with the story, and we're having a good laugh. And the interview runs, and I watch it and I send it around. A week later, they run not an erratum, but maybe like a follow-up where they are much more solemn. They're not laughing, and they didn't call me up to let me even know that they were doing this. And then I see the follow-up because I'm Googling my name in the video just to see where it comes up. And they run it's not a retraction, but it's sort of like an update. And said, last week we ran a story of this guy, Viva Frei, in Quebec, who caught a fish off a drone. And immediately we started getting flooded with calls as to whether or not this was legal. And in the follow-up interview, they had a fisherman from Vermont saying, this has to be illegal. It's sort of an unfair advantage on fish. And then I did a little research because from a Vermont law perspective, and it's actually bona fide illegal to fish with a drone in Vermont. In Quebec, it's not. In Vermont, it specifically says you can't fish with the assistance of a drone. In Canada, it goes by province, but some provinces say you cannot procure an advantage from a drone, which I don't think I did, and other ones don't have any restrictions yet. So it was not illegal in Quebec, but it was bona fide forbidden legislatively in Vermont. So they got a lot of calls in, and they had to correct the story and say, guys, we don't want to be a bad influence. Nobody should do this in Vermont. Which I thought was hilarious because they went from being totally ecstatic and in love with the story to solemn, and there's last week we ran a story and we have to correct, this is not legal and you should not do this, and then I got nervous and looked in Canada to see what the deal was, and I think it's only British Columbia and maybe Alberta that have specific prohibitions on using a drone. The idea being,
right,
on the merits of it, the idea being that the government doesn't want you being able to fly a drone, spot fish, and either herd the fish or plop a lure where you know there are fish by assistance of a drone, because it does give you an unfair advantage with fish. There's nothing.
Well, like a fish finder or something, those fish finders, that does the same thing.
No, that's where I don't want to get in. I don't want to get into the arguments on the merits. I'll leave it to somebody else who's braver and has more time. But no question. It's they don't want you using a drone for hunting moose because they don't want you just to spot the moose with the drone and then know where to go hunt them. It's all a little crazy because you're using metal hooks and braided line. It already seems to have a technical advantage over the fish. But all I'm saying is the follow-up was interesting.
Did they highlight the fact that you released the fish? Like that's it surely has to play into it. It was a catch and release situation, so surely that comes into it.
Well, people were happy that I released the fish. Being obsessively compulsive and neurotic, I track all the I read the comments. A lot of people were giving me flack for having kept the fish out of the water for probably a minute and a half, 2 minutes, which seems like a long time, but bass can live out of water easily. I mean, you can have them out of water easily for 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, sometimes more. But some people said good catch and release. Others said jerk, don't keep a fish out of water for that long again. And I understand both sides. All that I'm saying is, although I say from that particular fish's perspective, if it didn't swim off, I would have eaten it happily for dinner. It swam off without a question, and it was absolutely intact. The fish was intact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't you miss? By the way, don't you miss the days when people could just watch a video and just be like, "Haha, that's funny, that's great," and like no culture outrage or anything like that. Like I hate that.
It is. It's Joe Rogan called it recreational outrage. It's It's people trying to show, and I understand. I just don't do it. I'm funny anecdote. Like I was watching Casey Neistat, and at one point I made a comment about him not wearing a helmet, and he probably should because people watch. And I deleted it because I just felt so of that nature, like just finding something to complain about in a video. But yeah, it's crazy. You put up a video of. I'm trying to think of the most innocuous. Oh gosh, you guys seen the ostrich egg omelet video? Okay, whatever. Well, watch that one. That one is not as exciting as the drone bass fishing, but somehow has 6.5 million views. We bought an ostrich egg at an ostrich farm outside of Quebec, and the comments are like to the effect that I've killed an ostrich baby, I'm eating an endangered species, I'm a horrible person. I was like, and nobody even reads the description, which is the only reason the ostrich farm, which cultivates ostriches for the purposes of breeding the meat, sells the ostrich eggs is because they're unfertilized and never become babies. You know, it's
that small detail that no one kind of read.
It's a chicken egg. It's no more. It's no different except for in size. And so I get these like nasty comments.
YouTube.
But YouTube is it is anonymity and negativity, and everybody trying to either get points for negativity or being smart. It's what it is. But you live with it.
I was going to ask you, is that drone video? Well, that's 2 years old now. Was that sort of like you were doing YouTube before this, or that kind of kicked you right into it and said, I can really do this?
I've been doing YouTube. I mean, doing YouTube. Okay, so bear in mind, I've been a lawyer by trade for the last 11, 12 years. Let's say 11 years now. I started off with this one viral video of a squirrel stealing a GoPro and carrying it up a tree.
I saw that one.
This is November 4. I'm going to say November 12th or something. November 2014, and this is viral by standards that were viral. You know, were amazing back in 2014. It got like 5 million views in a week. That was the first viral video where I said, "Holy crap! There's a world out here that
Holy crab apples."
I'm sorry. This is after 10 o'clock interview.
Yeah.
I said, "This is a world that I've never even experienced," and that's when I started doing videos, but not even doing it full-fledged YouTube videography or YouTubing. I was just putting up a video every now and again. If something interesting happened, I'd put it up. When it started picking up was when I realized you could make. Sorry. Shook my whole table. You could make side money doing something you would otherwise do for fun, and then I started like really getting into vlogging, more storytelling, more meaningful stuff. And so I say I've been like doing dedicated. It was August 2016, so that's right about the time where I said I was figuring out that I was going to do less commercial litigation and more YouTube videography. And then as of November 2016, it's been a video a day. Hell or high water, it's been a video a day, and sometimes 2 videos a day.
Your recent videos have been
Wow.
awesome too. Your ziplining video, that was
was cool.
Were you using the big camera?
They up for now.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, this kind of hurts the groin package, eh?
That's fine.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. I can't believe they let me do this with my camera. Oh, yeah. Woo!
I don't want to get the guys in trouble because I was going to edit that section out. I couldn't believe that they let me use my camera. I'm using a Nikon D5600 on the is it the Jobby or whatever, the Gorilla tripod. Now, in fairness to them, the only thing they were worried about is you dropping the camera, and I had it munter hitched around my wrist.
Okay.
So there was no risk of dropping it. I was just, Quebec is different than America, where we don't have the perpetual fear of lawsuits in this overly litigious society. So they said, okay, fine. I said, if I won't drop it. If I do drop it, I'm not going to sue you guys. I'm not going to kill anybody. But I had it wrapped around my wrist, and with the dead cat mic. The audio was impeccable. The video was
sounded
impeccable.
so good. Yeah, it looked really good. It sounded great.
Crisp, and that was great. And I hope that Dude Perfect will one day make a Dad Perfect episode
cool.
It was. I won't tell you where. I mean, where I came up with the idea was in the morning when I'm watching my daily trending videos. But I said Dude Perfect. I can't do Dude Perfect, but I can do Dad Perfect, like stupid dad stuff. And there's something there. Just someone has to, it just has to get into the right hands, get retweeted, get viewed by the right people to actually blossom into something bigger than a crazy idea for a Tuesday morning.
If you're doing a daily video,
Ben, and I think is that static coming from you?
It's not
is
from
that
me.
me?
I was
Yeah,
checking.
I can certainly hear something going on. Wow, that's.
I think
really
that's coming
strange.
from you.
It might be me. It might be me.
I'm not sure. No, it's definitely me. I heard it as you were talking.
It's the Cody Wanner static.
Oh dear me, I messed up, but we're all back now. Now, I can't recall what we were actually speaking about right when we left, but the fact that we're back is great because I wanted to ask Viva, I wanted to find out how you have changed, if at all, your YouTube presence after the No Small Creator Group sort of really kicked into gear. I know you're a part of that. How has that affected your output, if you like?
And in no judgmental way, one way or the other, it hasn't affected my output one way or the other. I've been doing the daily stuff every day. I like the genuine sort of back and forth of communicating with other people and discovering other people. And I've discovered some genuinely interesting people through the No Small Creators group. But I think in reality, I knew a bunch of them beforehand, like Rachel Rawson, Mika, Nick Pham. Joe, these guys, I knew them actually before the No Small Creators from comments that they were posting comments in my videos. I had seen a few of their videos. I see the No Small Creators Facebook page made it a little more real in terms of daily interaction. But no, the daily output as a result of No Small Creators hasn't changed much. It's interesting, and I like following it and seeing everybody else. But I'd say if I have been going back, the thing that radically changed my daily output was when I decided to actually definitively wind up commercial litigation, where I wasn't being constrained by what would a judge think of me Monday morning if I ended up in front of him and he saw what I did on the weekend. That's when the creative floodgates opened, and I was like, screw this. I can take my shirt off in a video and I can eat kangaroo if I want, and I'm not gonna worry about what someone says on Monday morning.
So that's what we were missing when we disappeared and came back. We were talking about you being a lawyer. Is it correct to say you're no longer practicing? You're just doing YouTube? Is that correct?
No, I have so there's in Canada you have the same. You have litigation, which is when people sue each other. You have general law, which is just giving legal advice, contract review, all sorts of stuff. The same sort of barrister solicitor distinction that you have in common law countries. I suspect it's the same in Australia. But
right.
So I forget which is which. I think a barrister is the litigator in other countries. But I'm definitively no longer accepting new litigation files because I don't ever want to be in a courtroom again unless I have to. But I'm still doing.
Unless it's for drone fishing.
Yeah. No, I absolutely don't want to be in the courtroom for an infraction on my own. Something meaningful. Maybe I'll go back and a couple of files. I have a couple of files. Hold on a second. I have a couple of files which are going to trial that I just didn't feel comfortable getting out of because I was too heavily invested with the clients. But the phone rings for litigation, I can definitively say I'm not taking any new files. And then I still do some like commercial stuff on the side, and I've kept a 3 or 4 clients that I particularly like that I do piecemeal corporate commercial stuff for. But when I decided to wind up litigation, it literally took a year. Do you guys hear noise?
Nope.
No,
A little
no,
bit.
no.
Amazing.
There's going to be a trial by fire in your house tonight.
No, it's a good selective mic on this computer.
Sorry, just can we pause a second here? Am I getting flickering on my face here? Can you see flickering?
I see flickering.
My light's flickering. Oh dear.
Hey, Viva, do you watch Suits? That show?
No, I've gotten it. I've gotten the comment multiple times that I have to watch Suits. I've never watched Suits.
It's a great show.
Yeah,
it's a great show.
I'll do it. I did see. I have never been able to get into a series since Dexter ended. I did Breaking Bad, and I was sort of forced into it, and I liked it. But Dexter ended all series that I can ever get involved in. But I'll try Suits because I've been told it's fantastic.
Dexter was a great show. Yeah.
Dexter
Game of Thrones is a good show too.
Never seen one episode of Game of Thrones.
It's hard to get into, but once you get into it, it's like, yeah. But yeah.
Now, Viva, you mentioned Casey Neistat earlier, and I wanted to ask you, because on your channel, we see a lot of your family, and I wanted to ask you, what's your take on say, Casey and anybody else that refuses to put their kid at a certain age in their vlog? You do it, he blurs it, but he still puts them in. What's your take on that?
Well, yeah, so it's interesting. I totally understand the decision. I understand people who don't want their kids anywhere on the internet, period. And I understand people who have no problem with it whatsoever. And I'm sort of definitely more towards what I think is the realistic end, is they're going to be on the internet, they're going to be on social media regardless. I understand Casey blurring out the face as of a certain point. I kind of think it's somewhat pointless, but the kids are going to be on the street, and if someone wants to take a picture, they're going to do it anyhow. I understand the idea in principle. With my kids, I know that they're going to want to do it. I know that they're going to do it regardless. So the question is not trying to prevent the inevitable. It's just a question of planning around the inevitable. So, what I do is we have a code of ethics, which I think we detailed in one of the videos when I announced that my daughter was having her own channel, which is sensitize them to what it is to be on the internet, the perpetuity of the internet, the ruthlessness of the internet. I'm sure you heard it's a terrible story, and I don't want to talk about bad news, but there was the Australian girl, the Hat Girl, who committed suicide because of online bullying, because she was in a commercial and when she was young, and then the bullying got so bad that it was tragic, and it was the saddest thing I've ever heard. And the idea is, how do you get kids used to dealing with it? And I'm not sure that shutting their eyes and blocking them from it is the way to do it. So my kids, we read the comments, we laugh at them, we address the idiocy of the internet, and we make sure that nobody takes anything too seriously in terms of negative comments, and we also make sure that nobody does anything stupid in terms of exposure of what's inappropriate that's going to be on the internet forever once it goes up into the ether.
Yeah.
I feel like your family is a big part of your content as well. So it would be, for instance, if you blurred the face of your youngest one when you were giving her a 2-minute timing until she fell asleep.
Well, anyway, the funny thing is, like,
sorry, I was just thinking about how funny that is.
There's so much of it. The funny thing is, at the beginning, like I said, I'm never going to do vlogs. I'm going to keep my kids out of it as much as possible. But life is what it is. My waking life went from life without kids to life with 3 kids and 2 dogs. It's impossible to dissociate and dissect that aspect of your life from your content creation. And my goal is never, without qualification, without exception, it's not to exploit the kids. And there's no but. I will specifically not put up things that could have merit or could go viral and could be popular because I consider it exploitive. It's strictly to make sure that they are comfortable with what's going on the internet, and that they're not going to regret it later on, and that they're going to enjoy the experience as much as I do later on in life. But but it's at one point it became impossible. I don't want to kick the kids out of the room every time I want to make a cooking video. I don't want to tell them to be quiet every time I want to go fishing.
Not practical.
It's not practical. It's not natural, and it will cause more resentment because they get a kick out of it too. They love it. My youngest one who doesn't even know what a camera. I mean, he knows what a camera is now, but he loves fishing. He loves being in the videos. My two daughters, they love being a part of the videos. They love being a part of the process, the editing, the approval afterwards. No joke. They watch all the videos, and if they have a problem with anything in it, I don't put it in. It's categorical. At one point, I had.
I didn't want to make light. I wasn't trying to make light of that subject when I was laughing. I was just thinking back to what you did with that. If you haven't seen it, what happens is they get in their vehicle to go somewhere for possibly a long drive, and Viva says, turns around and says, "I'll give you 2 minutes till you're asleep in the back there," and she's like, just baby talk answer, and then you put a camera on it, and it's like, 2 minutes later.
And Ben,
this slow motion of her time lapse of her eyes getting quite slower and slower.
It's beautiful. And Ben, and by the way, don't worry, I'm not sensitive, and I didn't think you meant anything ill of anything. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. Yeah, watching a kid fall asleep against their will is the funniest thing on earth.
You're gonna fall asleep?
Yeah.
In how many minutes?
No.
You're not gonna fall asleep.
No.
I give you 2 minutes.
Okay.
Timer, 2 minutes.
Ba's already sleeping.
What's he doing here? It's gonna be 2 minutes from the time we start.
Great content.
And they're
really fun.
They love it.
It kind of showcases you, like, as a father, which I'm not a father, but if I was to be a father, I think I'd probably model my fathership on the way you do it with your kids, because I'd be vlogging it as well. I'd probably kind of do a similar approach.
It's not that it becomes the content. It just becomes more difficult and more unnatural to say stop, get out, I don't want you in here, and it also becomes like exclusionary. The kids see what I'm doing. They want to be.
They're part of your story, and that's what you're kind of documenting. So it's like, and that's what I don't like about Casey. And I said blurring his kid is that you saw her all the time, and that was cool. Like seeing him as who he really is, and then all of a sudden it's like,
oh wow.
Danny just froze.
Completely froze, but that's, dear me, Danny's frozen now, and also my light's flickering again.
Oh, forget your flickering lights. That's fine.
Dear me.
No, no,
we'll just chat while Danny freezes.
Well, he'll unfreeze sooner than later. There's the global warming will unfreeze him.
Yeah.
No, with Casey,
no, but
I do understand. I understand it, like especially with a spouse who may not be as open. Not to say that Candace is not, but I don't know. I think I might know, and I think I have my suspicions in terms of like the dynamic. I understand people saying
she hates it.
I think at some point that she wants to have more of a private life than Casey wants to have, and he's more used to a public life than she is. And then I understand not wanting to transpose that or sort of impose that on the kids. I understand it entirely, and I understand people who don't want their kids, period, on the internet, even if I disagree with them. We went to, I just want to make sure that no one will be able to identify themselves in what I'm saying, but I shot a video when we went to a trampoline house, and being the neurotic...
Hey, Danny.
Oh, is Danny back?
Danny's back.
All right.
Danny Black is back.
Danny, have you been able to hear what we were saying?
No, I mean, I'm back on the great old Australian internet, and I just like, connection lost. I'm like, what? How does... Yeah, all right, sure, whatever.
Oh,
I'm back.
Let me do this.
Sorry.
This one might stay in, but that'll stay in better. I was just saying, like, I was at a trampoline house doing one of my kids' birthday party videos. She was at another birthday party, but being the neurotic person, I said at one point I could visibly identify one of the kids, and I sent it to the mother, and I said, "Are you okay with this?" And she says, "No, take my kid out of the video." And then I remember my reflex was like, this is a trampoline house. The kid is barely identifiable. I'm not giving even a name or whatever. But I understood it, even if I disagreed with it, and I edited that scene out by sort of zooming in to a peripheral so you didn't see the kid's face. But I understand it. I don't live by the same standards, but I understand people who don't want pictures of their kids on the internet. I think it's superfluous and redundant. I mean, it's over the top, but we all have different standards.
I've had a few from Google, a few emails from Google saying, you know, we've been contacted by this person that appears in your video. Please blur them. So I've had to go back and blur people out.
That's the other thing.
Frustration, but
whatever. I don't want to have to take. I don't want to get into a situation where someone makes me take down a video that's been published and has been well received. I don't want to get into those conflicts. 10 plus years in commercial litigation, you realize that people are irrational and belligerent about the smallest and the biggest things, and I don't want someone coming back to me saying, "Oh, you sold that video. My kid's in the top left corner. Take it down. Pay me something." I want to avoid those conflicts, so I always get the clearances before I do something. Sorry, I just pulled it out. Unless I'm in the most public of arenas, in which case I'm saying, like, I'm sorry, we live in a world where cameras exist in a public arena. But
But that's what's great about YouTube is that you can do a lot of editing after the fact. Like there's times when a company told me like you got to take this out or something, and it's all published. Everyone's watched it for a week. I'm like, I don't want to take this out and republish it. So I didn't even know this, but you can actually trim little spots out of it, and you can actually do it pretty well without it being noticeable.
Huh.
Can you do that still?
I can't do that because that would take my video timing out, and my videos always end on a particular minute.
Yeah, you can't do it, but I mean the fact that you can put a blur and you could probably zoom part of it in at a spot, like you can do a lot of after editing on YouTube, which is cool.
YouTube is good because you can do face blurs and you can split the section and do the face blurs, and the face blur and the license plate blur is actually pretty good. But it does turn it does not denature, but it changes the nature of the video when you have sections where people's faces are blurred, and it's not ideal. I just want to avoid any sort of conflict like that, and I always get the neighbors and my kids' friends and the parents know that they know what we do, and they're all game for it. So the only issue is like the random person on the street who might have a problem with it.
So back on the daily vlogging thing, what's the biggest challenge that you find with daily vlogging, and how do you overcome those challenges? So
the one problem, the physical time consuming aspect of it, the uploading, the editing. I mean, but those are the technical sides. The one thing that's been getting to me recently, and it's sort of, I think it's the nature of the beast, is the creativity aspect and the fear aspect. Is that you want to make the videos that you like, but you want to make sure that people like the videos you make, and you struggle for coming up with ideas that are not recycled, that are not too exploitive to not be recycled ideas. It's the dilemma of creating original stuff, not wanting to go over the top to create original stuff just for the sake of it, to be catchy, and not being too redundant by recycling or revisiting ideas that you've already done in the past. And the other thing is, like, when you post a video, if it doesn't get well received, I don't care what anybody says. It hurts your soul and it hurts your psyche, because you ask yourself, like, was it a bad video? Am I losing touch with the people who once liked me? Am I no longer interesting, or was it just a bad video? And then you have to go to the next day and the next day. But it's the anticipation, and it's the next day that you know is coming, that always gets you through the whatever the day was that you just went through.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also a lot of the algorithm playing in the back end, like you make a great video and it doesn't get received well. Is it because it didn't get shown to everybody? Well, that's the other thing. I know what's trending, and you know what people are looking for. But if you have a video which is, I'm trying to think of a good example. I mean, the dude Perfect is a good example of one where it was a good idea based on trending content, which is sort of my idea about Trending Tuesday, which is to do something organic and natural. Mm-hmm. Playing into the algorithm and playing into what's trending, versus just my Fishing Fridays, which are amazing fishing videos, but only people who are into fishing are looking up fishing videos. So I know they're not going to do as well as what was her name, Tanacon commentaries. And I've got my law vlog coming out tomorrow. I know certain things are just going to do better in a short time frame because people are looking up those particular issues, versus what some people call the evergreens, which is in a year's time there are going to be as many people looking for that video as there were a year ago. In a year, no one's going to be looking up Tanacon disaster or fiasco. No one's going to be doing it. So that's correct. Everything has its time and place. Well, I made a personal request to you on a comment there. Could you show us some of those frogs when the season comes? Because I'm a huge frog lover, and you did that tadpole video, which was awesome. But I really want to see what the frogs look like.
So the frog season is coming. The same pool neighbor up in the townships who thought something terrible had happened and rushed out of her house. She's got a pool in the back, and the frogs swim into the pool and then end up in the sort of the siphon pit. And at the end of the year, there are so many there's like 20, 25 frogs, and unfortunately they don't always live. But the kids love waking up first thing in the morning when we're out there to rescue as many as we can. So that's going to be a video. The only question is, if there are too many dead frogs, I'm not going to publish it because I don't want to upset people or, know the negative comments are coming. This is why people shouldn't have pools and we're destroying the earth. But no, the frogs.
They're not suicidal frogs, though. No, it's not a suicide pool.
No, the only problem is you can't. Not that I would eat those frogs anyhow, but I don't think you could eat them once they've been in a chlorine pool for 12 hours.
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
But there's a bunch of good. I mean, I don't do it, but there's been a bunch of good catch and cook frog videos that I've watched because I'm curious about it. But I have trouble eating fish from that lake where we are in the townships. I don't think I'd eat the frogs.
Viva, is there? I mean, your channel's super open and you talk about many different things and you engage a lot of different content. Is there anything that you want to address through CreatorCast that you probably couldn't put on your channel? So something that's way out of brand for you that
vlogger therapy.
Maybe
let it all out.
Yeah, like we can deliver that to because people are going to watch your channel, but you might not put that on your channel, but you might be able to air the laundry here, or if you like.
No, I'm pretty open about everything. I'm even open about the stuff that I'm not open about on my channel, like politics and religion. I don't. There are things that I just don't talk about, not because I'm not interested in them, just because they start fights. They create divisions among a crowd that you want to be unifying through sort of like universal commons. That I don't even know if that's a word, but YouTube has the power to unite. It has the power to divide. 10 years, 11 years of litigation. I'm fed up with being the divider or the fighter. Right. I'm open about the things I don't want to talk about, or just because nothing good is going to come of it. There's nothing I would bring up here that I wouldn't bring up on my channel, and there's nothing that I would discuss here that I wouldn't discuss on my channel. I could do a political discussion, but it would probably be in a private setting where there's an assurance that people are going to actually listen to each other and not just look for the sound bites to bring the person down in 2 or 3 years' time.
What about live streaming? Because you've recently started your live streams. How's that going for you? And give any advice that someone who doesn't live stream, me, what would be your advice?
I'm going to just move this bench here. I love live streaming. I love live streaming because I like, and like we've had this interview, I'll call it an interview, but we've had this video format where I love not knowing the questions. I love something that is just genuine, sincere, like a human interaction. And I love the live streams, which is, even with the stupid questions, with the idiotic comments, I like it because it tests my authenticity and ability to actually respond to unplanned, spontaneous questions. And I think it's a genuine human interaction, which is by nature unedited. The advice I'd give is that it's unedited. It's forever. Whether or not you delete your live stream, take for granted someone's recording with their iPhone and you're never going to get it off the internet. So watch what you say. Don't take solace in the fact that you can delete your live stream afterwards. The internet, and I mean, I sort of operate on the basis that someone is seeing what I'm doing at all times. That's the risk, and that's my only reluctance, and that's the only reason why I hesitate is to letting the kids in on the live stream. Because kids just have no appreciation of that. Kids say stupid things, and I don't want the kids getting embarrassed or punished because they had, because they say something stupid during a live stream that is in the internet for the rest of eternity.
Yeah. No, that's completely understood. That's a very smart way to do it with children around. You have to. It's not like you can have the edit after the fact and it doesn't go live. It's there already. So and smart parenting.
They don't. It's not that they don't even understand. They don't even appreciate. Like the last live stream, my kid was making funny faces, and I could anticipate maybe her being embarrassed by that in 10 years. But I always say like no one's going to recognize the 5-year-old to the 20-year-old in 15 years time, but it's the more substantive things like a 13 or 14-year-old might say things that are not funny faces that they will regret in 7 years, and you have to protect people from themselves sometimes. That's one of the lessons as a lawyer that I learned.
Danny, did you have a question you wanted to ask Viva before we wrap this one up?
Viva,
sir,
will you participate in July of next year with me? I'm trying to get a bunch of creators. So July is a thing I started that was like you go live every day in July, and it's just that's your daily thing is you just go live, and I want to try to make it as some kind of a fundraiser like for a charity, and make it like a big November thing, but like for July.
Would you mind if the July was me fishing every day for July?
You know what? That's what it is. You do it.
So cool.
That'd be awesome.
I'm absolutely game. Now that would basically become the content for the month. It wouldn't be July and vlogging. It would be just a live video for 10 minutes.
For me, what's cool about it is you go live and you have a great time doing that, but it also gives you a chance to take a break from editing, but you're still putting out daily content.
I love the idea. And incidentally, I was approached. I don't think the project ever took off, but I was approached with 360 live streaming, where you get like a little what's it called? Not a widget.
Yeah, actually, I've been doing that. I've been doing that on my secondary channel. I have the device over here. So
a dangle. It's called a dangle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, let's see this.
See you, Danny. He'll be back shortly. There he goes. That was very quick.
Yeah, it's right here. But I just got this, and I've been doing this on my other channel for when I'm playing gigs. And so you got this right here.
Yeah,
pop it on.
It's incredible. I was so down with doing that, but for the fact that I think it would like kill me in terms of data and costs.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't change much data intake. I mean, it just broadcasts at 720, which is not bad. But it's just for me. I got this after I did July, but like I was walking around with this thing, and it was so much easier. Like than trying to have other lenses and stuff, and you could just hey look over here and flip it around, or if you do it actually with 360 broadcasting, they can look wherever they want to look, and
I would be down with July, and it would give me a month of actually not spending 4 hours a day editing videos.
Exactly. It's great.
We'll
chat
idea.
more about that because I think it's gonna be a big thing next year, and it's gonna be a cool charitable thing. So
I'm down.
Sweet.
Now, before we do wrap up, I would like to ask you, Viva, any channels that you want to give a nice big hearty thumbs up and a shout out towards that we should be watching that we might not be watching?
Now, okay, so I'll give the obvious one, which I plugged in which I shouted out to in my last live stream, which is Nick Fam, Mika Nicholson. It's Nick
Micah.
Micah. All I know is it's Nick Fam, NICHFAM, which I love. The call them small content creators, the small creators that I've discovered since the page was formed. I mean, I've been watching periodically Rachel Rawson, Joe, Gina Walters, the guys that some of the not small creators that I like to watch. You know who Miller Wilson is, Benin?
I don't.
Oh, good. Okay, he's an Australian kid. He fishes. It's catch and cook and fishes in the outback. It's magnificent. Miller Wilson,
okay, cool.
He's amazing.
All right.
And then I got a bunch of fishing. Black Tip H is a fishing show that I watch, but they've got 1 million subscribers, so they're not by no means small.
We'll get them on our channel soon. Don't worry.
Well, I'm trying to get them to take me on their boat to go charter fishing because they catch like giant Goliath grouper, mahi. It's everything I've ever dreamt of in fishing, but. We'll see what one day. But who else? Just make sure I don't forget anybody just yet. I'm gonna forget.
It's not like the awards show, and you hope I'm not forgetting anybody. It's okay to not.
What about your daughter? You should promote your daughter's channel.
I don't plug my daughter's channel, Mila's Madness, because that would be irresponsible and false encouragement. She has to earn her subscribers on Mila's Madness on her own.
Hey, I like that. That's interesting.
She does have to. I mean, she's learning what she takes for granted as my obsession is putting out a video a day. She realizes how much goes into one video when she does it herself. It's an eye-opening experience.
Yep. My niece and nephew were like, "Oh, we really want to have a YouTube channel. We want to have a YouTube channel." A, their mum won't let them, but B, I'm like, it's actually a lot of work. This is all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else but this. Yeah, we want to have one. We want to have one. Oh, maybe you don't.
No, they're going to do it anyhow.
Maybe they have one and they edit it between the two of them, that kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a parent. My ideas for parenting are maybe a little bit, bit wacky.
You're pretty good. I said my kid wanted one. I said you can have one. The only problem is that she has to use my computer to edit, and she needs me to help her edit. So it's basically now doubling the workload. But one day she's going to be so smart, she's going to be teaching me the editing skills on like Final Cut Pro 12 or whatever. But so it's an investment. It really is an investment in my future.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, before we do let you go, your family's there right now, right?
No, they're in bed. It's 10:15 now here.
Oh, they're in bed. So if I called out, Marion! Marion!
I'll show you what we
Holy
got.
crab apples, man.
Here we got
So
one
loud.
dog there. And we got another one there.
There you go. Sleeping.
Whatever.
Oh yeah, I didn't talk about that. I wanted to ask you about your dog and
the
the
wheelchair.
legs on that dog there.
This one right over here.
Yeah, he's in the wheelchair, this guy.
Yeah, so it was my sister-in-law's dog, and she suffered a slip disc which pinched a nerve and overnight lost movement in her back legs, and that was April of the year before last, so like a year and a half ago. And we ended up just taking her permanently because we don't have stairs to walk up our house, and we have no carpets on the floor, and we have another dog, so it was an organic thing. But that dog, oh man. That's like two kids in one there, and in terms of mess and in terms of maintenance and cost, it's crazy. But she's a good dog.
Maybe I should get a dog before I get children.
You know what? That might put you off. That might put you off.
Get
Kids. Just
children.
have the
Have
kids
children.
first. That's something you can't undo, and then you can get a dog after that.
Yeah. And then the dog's
All right.
going to eventually go off to the farm upstate. People are going to hate me for saying it. It sounds so mean. But I know that's like the lie that the parents told the kids when they...
No, dogs are easy, but dogs are a big pain in the neck in terms of they never mature past a certain point. Kids mature past a certain point, and they actually become fun and they become independent beings to hang out with and do things with.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, Danny, unless you have any further questions
I'm
you'd
good.
like to ask,
Hopefully,
I
we'll
think,
try to get Micah from Nick Pham for next week then, because he shouted him out.
Micah's
good idea.
and this is not like a shout out of obligation or anything. Micah, now that I know him more personally from No Small Creators, from comments, and we faced what's the word? Facebook? We Facebook message, like we email back and forth. He's a unique, special individual who's got an amazing story, and if I had the capability of interviewing him or meeting with him, I would love to. He's got an amazing life story. I'll leave it to him to tell.
Hopefully, we'll get him on there.
Yeah.
Get him telling you that story next
Yeah.
week.
Yeah.
maybe you should stay tuned to our CreatorCast YouTube channel
hit
for
the
next week's
subscribe
episode.
I will be sharing and I will be telling other people to watch your YouTube channel as of when this video goes up, and I share it on all my social media platforms.
Yeah, sweet.
Awesome. Well, Viva, thank you so much, dude. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Same.
It was really nice to be able to go back and discover how that video came about and hear about your life and how
So
things are
funny,
going
that
for
video.
you.
It was
really cool.
I'm
It's been a-
going down to the townships this weekend. I'm going to try to replicate it, and maybe with something more special. I said I have to try it again. I have to do it even bigger and better. But we'll see. I'm going down to go fishing
Well,
this weekend.
I probably watch that once every couple of months just for a giggle, just to like you did, to make yourself laugh at life,
Absolutely.
because that's what keep the spirits up. Also, there's so many things that your other videos, like you put a GoPro above a bird's nest and you filmed the baby bird.
We're gonna see if I can see what's in the bird's nest. Okay, that should give us a good view. All right, guys, let's see. Okay, people, we have just watched the footage. There appear to be 2 live chicks and maybe one that did not escape the egg.
It's just
Amazing.
You do cool stuff.
The GoPro, I've been jokingly hitting up GoPro for a sponsorship forever, because like I got an aggregate of 10 million views on squirrel videos alone for them. But the GoPro is it's a magical creation because it's so small, so discreet. You can get in places you could never get before. The image and the audio is so crisp. Underwater, you can hear when we end this, just go look up one where I think it's I put a GoPro under the ice after I hacked a hole in it with an axe just to see what was under the water, and I lower it into the water, and a trout swims up to the GoPro and swims off in the dead of winter. The GoPro, they're amazing. The drones are amazing tools of creation. They let you do things that were, unthought of 10 years ago, and it's amazing. They open realms of possibilities for creativity. They're beautiful.
Absolutely. Look, I feel like we could continue talking, but we're going to wrap this up. I have an ocean right out there, a beach, and I do want to go out there and do some drone fishing at some point. You've inspired me. Viva,
be prepared to lose your drone.
Thank you so much again. Be prepared to lose it? Okay. Maybe I'll use someone else's then, not mine. Danny, you want to go fishing?
Yeah, actually, I think I could do it. I'm prepared to lose a drone or two.
Saltwater, even if it crashes in saltwater, you're never repairing it. It's freshwater, you can blow dry it. It's good.
That's true. All right, Viva, we'll say farewell for the time being, but now that this communication's open, I'm sure we'll speak to you again
anytime.
in the future.
Anytime, I'm always here.
Say hi to your family and just continue to do what you do, man. We're loving it.
Thank you very much.
Awesome stuff.
All right, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Buddy.
A great night. Or a good morning where you guys are. All right.
Thank you, man.
Bye.
Then you got to go.
So that's when you do that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on.
Remember what we talked about?
I forgot. Oh, and
told you, we're super professional here.
What is this? Have a good night. Boom.
What a
Peace
seamless
out.
ending that was. That was perfect. We didn't talk about that at all.
Almost as good as HO's ending.
Do I stop?
Yeah,
Do I stop
yeah.
recording now?
No, we can
No,
still hear you. You stay like
we're
that
just gonna-
until we're done.
We'll just do a little quick wrap here. Danny, look, I know I showed you that video a while back and we had a good giggle. Wasn't that cool to actually hear about it from the creator?
You know, it's funny because I remember I saw that. I've seen the GoPro Squirrel one. And then it was when I saw him in hashtag No Small Creator that I went over to his channel and subscribed and started watching his videos. And I actually, until you reminded me that, I didn't realize he was the same guy. And that's just so funny.
Seriously?
Yeah, seriously.
Wow.
So it's cool. Like it's awesome that it kind of came full circle there. So
Yeah, that's all come full circle. You actually took those words out of my mouth. I was going to say that it's come full circle. Danny, it's good to have you back in the country, dude. We'll see you soon together. Well, I'll see you soon in VidCon in Melbourne.
VidCon.
CreatorCon.
And I'll see you
I'm
next
not going
week
to
too
VidCon.
for probably for some midweek chats and some more stuff. So
There you go.
here on CreatorCast.
There you go. In the meantime, it's time to remove our headphones and enjoy our ears being free to the air. What?